Brothers and sisters, for coming today just to get together and have iftar, which is the most important point of today's gathering, is just to see each other in these blessed days of the month of Ramadan. And you never know, it might be Laylatul Qadr, inshallah, and if then we need to purify our intentions, inshallah. Every single thing that we do during these 10 days of Ramadan, inshallah, one of these nights will be Laylatul Qadr, inshallah. In these nights, any good deed will be multiplied by 83 years, inshallah. If you do a prayer, if you do a donation, if you do a charity, if even you call a friend, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get rewards for this, as if you are doing this good deed for 83 years, inshallah. So I'd like just to remind you and myself with this opportunity, since we only had a few nights remaining from Ramadan. I'd like just to introduce myself for those who do not know me. My name is Hassan Mahsoub. I am the current president of the Islamic Center of Blacksburg, also known as Masjid Al-Hedaya. I became the president last year, since 2023, actually in the summer of 2023. And many years before, I was also the president of the Islamic Society of New River Valley. I was in Idris' shoes that time, so in 2018. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, in the past few years, we had a very good community that was growing more and more by the year. And then we happened to had, many years ago, we happened to have another masjid in this community. For those who do not know about it, I know that if you are here like 4 or 5 years ago, then you probably wouldn't know about this masjid, because it had to be closed for some reason that I was going to explain, inshallah, in a few slides from now. Just a little bit of history about the two masjids that we have, Masjid Al-Ihsan and Masjid Al-Hedaya, i.e. ISNRV and ICB, okay? These are the acronyms. So Masjid Al-Ihsan, as some of you may have known, that it was established in 1986, and it was located in an owned house. A few years later, Masjid Al-Hedaya, or the ICB, it has been also established in 1990, and then it was located in multiple locations in rented houses. In 1996, Masjid Al-Ihsan, alhamdulillah, was built, and the prayers were held in it for the first time. And then in 1998, Masjid Al-Hedaya also was established in a more kind of permanent facility, long-term facility. It was still rented place, but it has been in that location for the past 20 years. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, both masjids they have a very good role in serving the Muslim community according to the Quran and Sunnah. And in the most recent history, you could see that executives from both masjid would assume roles in both masjids. So even the presidents, Brother Tariq Abu Hamdiya was the president of the ISNRV, and then later he became the president of the ICB. Brother Amr Hilal was the president of the Masjid Al-Ihsan, ISNRV, and then later he became the president of the ICB. I myself was the president of the ISNRV in 2018, and a couple of years ago I became the president of the ICB. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we always have good communications with each other, just so that you know that there is no issues of having two masjids in the same town, when we always are brothers and we always serve the Muslim community, and everything happens for a reason. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, in the past few years also we managed to have joint events between the ISNRV as well as the ICB. And this is the main point of today's presentation, actually, is that we have a Muslim community that's widespread throughout the New River Valley, from the north to the south. And to the south you can see like Richardsburg, Radford, and other areas. From the north you can go to up until Giles County. And there is no masjid that way except for Masjid Al-Ihsan, and in the south the other way except for Masjid Al-Hedaya. And the two masjids have been there for many years, and both of them have been serving the Muslims community, which needed both of them a lot. Of course, there are some regions that will be closer to ISNRV, so people there are expected to pray in Masjid Al-Ihsan. And then there are also more people that are living towards the south and now in Christiansburg, that it will be more convenient to them to pray in the ICB. And people actually happen to pray in both masjids for the same reasons, whenever it's convenient for them. And this is one of the main reasons. The community is growing, and now it's growing more exponentially than ever. And the Muslim population, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, it's getting bigger, and also it's getting like more spread out throughout the communities. This is why it's very important to have more convenient place of worship to the Muslims that are living anywhere in the community of Blacksburg as well as the surrounding communities. This is the previous location of Masjid Al-Hedaya or ICB. This is very close to the new location right now. It was a rented facility, basically towards the South Main Street in South Park Drive. It was like a kind of modest size masjid, but alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, in every single Friday prayer, you will find the masjid full of Muslims praying there. Students and families that are living in south area of Blacksburg, Christiansburg, as well as Radford. It has always been full like this. And let me tell you that after the masjid was closed for the reason that I will explain, I know that some people were not able to pray Jum'ah prayer very often as they used before. It's just because they couldn't make it because of their work, because of this location, and the traveling or driving from their location into the south of Blacksburg and then going all the way through different traffic lights to the masjid in the North Main. This was very challenging for them, and they have expressed this frequently to us. So alhamdulillah, the masjid has been serving those people for the too many years. Of course, the Masjid Al-Hedaya was a fully functioning masjid. Like any masjid, has its own different committees, religious committees, social athletic committees, maintenance and facility, and we have lots of volunteers that are working. And this report actually, it was back in 2014, and you can see that even the budget for the masjid during these years was kind of similar to the Masjid Al-Ihsan. It's almost $35,000 a year. So the masjid has lots of activities and lots of expenses as well. So the masjid activities included, of course, Jum'ah prayer like every week, and then also we managed to have Jum'ah prayer on campus. For every single Jum'ah, alhamdulillah, the ICB managed to have established like a Friday prayer through its organization or student organization, the Islamic Society of the Islamic Student Assembly. That's still working until now on campus. We also have lots of da'wah activities, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, which was the main thing that Masjid Al-Hedaya was focusing on. Every single year, regardless of what kind of event, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, we were able to participate in all of them, spread the word of Islam, whether it's a weekly da'wah table on campus on the square that's still running until today, alhamdulillah, VT Gobbler Fest every year, a street fair, as well as the Islam Awareness Week. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, every year we were able to spread tens or hundreds of Quran copies as well as da'wah brochures for the Muslims in this area. Of course, we had lots of social gatherings like any other masjid, alhamdulillah, graduations, farewells, celebrating marriages, newborn, as well as Quran competitions. The masjid has always been full of these events throughout the year. We had lots of social events, alhamdulillah. And starting from 2014 till the masjid was closed in 2017, for over 4 years, alhamdulillah, we were able to manage to have joint Eid prayers between Masjid Al-Ihsan and Masjid Al-Hedaya, between the ICB and ISNRV. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, and instead of having two Eid prayers in the two masjids, we were able to collaborate together and have the Eid prayer, just one Eid prayer for the entire Muslim community here in the community center, in the basketball rooms. This is where we had this back in 2017 or 2016, I believe. Alhamdulillah, and starting from 2014, we always have this in the community center, just one Eid prayer for the entire Muslim community in the valley. This is more pictures of the Eid prayers, alhamdulillah. And finally, this is just the big question that do we need another masjid in this area? And the fact is that we already had a masjid in this area, and the masjid has been serving the community for too many years. So for any Muslim, it should be a good thing and a good sign that another masjid or a second masjid in your town is being built to serve the Muslims in your area, as well as to spread the word of Islam. You can see here, just imagine if you have just one church versus like too many churches. Okay, how you will view the word of this religion. Okay, so this is the main point, is that the more you have, and actually when it comes to religion and building a place of worship, I would say the more the merrier. Okay, it's always very good that you go anywhere that you find a place to worship and to make prayers. Whenever you do shopping in Christiansburg, I would struggle that where I should have prayers, where I should do the prayer. Should I have to go travel back to even my apartment to pray Asr or Dhuhr and then go back to continue shopping, or just have a more convenient place? And this is actually what we have been actually doing, alhamdulillah. Whenever you are in Christiansburg, you will find it easily 5-10 minutes, go to the masjid to pray and get back to what you're doing. Lots of people, alhamdulillah, found it more convenient this way. So it's not the question that we should ask, do we need another masjid? But I believe that why was the other masjid closed? What happened? There was a place that was serving the Muslim community, and for some reason it was closed. And then we know that lots of people couldn't make the daily prayers as they used to do. Lots of people would miss Jum'ah prayer and not praying the Jum'ah anymore. So what we did after that, so here is a brief history of what happened. In 2017, late 2017, the landlord of the masjid that we were renting the facility from, he unfortunately decided to increase the rent exponentially. And then he knew that we were kind of planning to stay more in this place. And then he decided, hey, I want to increase the rent. He almost wanted to double the rent. And then we told him, hey, this is not a fair deal. And then we cannot go this way. So the brothers at this time just decided, hey, we have to start thinking about a more practical plan. Let's have our masjid built. Okay, let's have the masjid built in a permanent facility. And we had a very good advantage, by the way, to move into this direction or into this option. Of course, they have explored lots of options, but there was a very nice option that we had at this time. So again, late 2017, this location was closed. And then in 2018 to 2020, brothers started to think about what are other options. And they'll tell you what the option that we have. They started actually to collect some fundraising even on campus. And this campaign was back in 2016 in Ramadan. And then they hired actually an architecture company to start working on the designs of the new masjid. What are our options? And then, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, by the end of 2020, we had the site plan and the building design ready to go. So already the masjid plan was there, and also brothers of the Islamic ISNRV of Blacksburg were helping us in this, especially Dr. Saad Rajab. He was involved in this plan from day one, alhamdulillah. So we always coordinated with our brothers here for the plan for the masjid. And again, it's just actually we were about to start the construction using the amount of fund that we had that time. But again, after the COVID hit, okay, everything paused. Everything had to be halted because there was lots of uncertainty during this time. The advantage that we had actually that, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, back in 2010, our brothers were able to collect some funding that enabled them to purchase a strategic piece of land, which is located here. And this is basically at the south entrance of Blacksburg, near the ramp to Christiansburg. The current price of the land is almost $520,000. Because of the location and the zoning of this area, it's really, really strategic to have a lot of land in this area, which was also kind of close to the previous site of the masjid. So brothers decided, let's try to make use of this land. This is again another more pictures of the location of the new masjid, inshallah. This is where the land is located right now. And you can see how strategic is this position. The location is at the very end of the South Main Street, at the town main entrance of Blacksburg. You are going this way south to Christiansburg. You are going here towards the 460 highway. And then here, this side, you are going back to Blacksburg. So the location is really strategic for any Muslim in this area. And one other thing, this is something that I got from Google Maps, that how convenient is it gonna be to the people who are in Christiansburg and in the south side of Blacksburg. So here, this is the location in Walmart. So Walmart, different locations basically in Christiansburg compared to Masjid Al-Ihsan here. And how much time you will need to drive from your home in Christiansburg to go to the masjid. If you are in Walmart, if you are in Rec Center of Christiansburg, if you are by Kroger, even if you are at the downtown area, how much time you need to travel to go to the masjid there compared to the other location. So this is the new location of the Radford, okay? And even if you are in Christiansburg, you will find out that you will also have to drive about 20 to 30 minutes based on your location to reach the Radford location, okay? Compared to the 113 South Park Drive, which is the current location of the masjid, inshallah, you can see how more convenient is it. Nearly 15 minutes only, and you will be in the masjid, inshallah, compared to 20 to 30 minutes if you are living in that area of the town or in Christiansburg. And this has been also the reality, actually, because the masjid was more convenient. So lots of brothers from Christiansburg and from Radford were praying in this location. So alhamdulillah, in 2023, we were able to resume the plans after the long pause because of COVID. We had a new Shura Council. Also, we had a new executive board. And alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, we were able to finalize all the site plans, resume the plans for the building, and get in touch with the town. And alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, as a brother Abdullah Al-Hil will tell you, we finally got the approval to start the construction on the building. Alhamdulillah. So I think I'm going to stop right now here, and then Abdullah will explain to you the efforts that we have done in terms of how much fund did we collect and what did we do with this fund in terms of progress of the project, inshallah. Jazakumullah. No? The mic. Oh, yeah. Can you proceed to the next slide?
All right, assalamu alaikum. I'm just going to give everyone here a quick progress update based on what we've done these past 2 years. I know Tarawih is in like about 45 minutes, so I am going to try to make it as quick as possible so we could all make it. So all right, so these are just some of the milestones that we've had as Dr. As close as possible, okay. All right, so as Dr. Hassan just mentioned, so he gave the history, so now I'm going to give about what's going on in the present and what we're doing right now. So as you can see, here are a list of dates and what we've been doing on these years. So we were able, alhamdulillah, between 2016 and 2018, all we pretty much did was just collect funds. Alhamdulillah, we were able to get about 120,000. And then 2017, 2018, we started brainstorming on what we should do, how we should go about getting the land, what we need to do. And alhamdulillah, by 2018, everything was figured out. The masjid site plan was figured out, as well as the design and how we were going to go about it. And then 2019, This is when, if you guys know anything about building in the town of Blacksburg, it does have a lot of requirements, a lot of things that you have to meet, and a lot of things that you have to approve. So alhamdulillah, we started working with the town of Blacksburg. We also were able to pay out the architect and design services for them to be able to draft up a building design, and then the nutrient credit process, which goes into the soil and the ground that we've purchased the land. And then alhamdulillah, by the early 2019, the construction contract was signed. So everything that was ready to go was ready to go, but unfortunately because of COVID, everything was put on pause. So it wasn't put on pause because of some financial difficulty or anything like that. It was mainly because COVID, because we know in 2020 COVID hit everyone and everything was placed on pause. But alhamdulillah, on 2023, we were able to acquire everything. And so here, this is gonna just show you real quick the application fees, what we went throughout the years. We had multiple processes, and so then this was the first review, and then we went through a second review cycle, third review cycle, and then alhamdulillah, the final stamp of approval was given to us after we've sent it to the town. And so here are the 5 requirements that we needed to get from the town before even starting any construction. The first one was obviously providing a construction sequence and figuring out phases for when we wanted to have our construction, which is also going to be shown here. And then we also had to have a distributed area plan in concordance with the town. We also then had to have a construction inspection fee. And then the fourth thing here, we had to have an erosion and sediment control, which is also what we had taken care of. And then the last one was providing a stormwater prevention pollution plan. So all of these 5 requirements that was required by the town is what we were able to get, alhamdulillah, for us to be issued the land permit. And so as you could see here, that's the land currently. It is cleared up, so all the trees, all the shrubs are taken care of. And then this is just a schematic of the masjid. I know many people said that it looks like a small masjid, but that's the purpose of it. It's going to end up being expanding in the future, so we're kind of working small. And then inshallah, by the future, as you can see right there, we have a future masjid expansion. We will be expanding the masalla. And then we also have a future parking expansion, which will mean that more parking spots will be available as the community grows and as the need arises. With that said, this is just a floor plan, schematic of how it looks like. This is how the masjid should look like from a bird's eye view. Again, some of this is subject to change. We do have some features on it here. So the men's masalla, approximately how many people it can take. For the women's masalla, how many people it can take, and things like that. Again, this is all subject to change in the future when we also start building more on the masjid ground. And so here, as I said, this is the current location. This is how it's going to look like in the future. So inshallah, once the project is complete, we will actually have a masjid on this side of the town. And so here's how it looks like as you're going in, entering into 460, going into the highway on South Main. Your masjid is going to be right on your right side corner if you're coming in, leaving from Virginia Tech, and if you're coming in north towards out of the highway. So that's how the masjid is going to look like, inshallah. And so here are just some of the things that we have. These are the pre-construction. All the stuff that you see here, majority of it is paid. And so right now we're in the year 2025. So this is what we are working on towards right now. And as you can see at the bottom, the ground total, it's $643,000. So if you saw on the previous slide, the land was purchased for about half, $500,000, but as you could tell, because the population of the town is growing, because the town is increasing, the land itself is increasing in value, which is a good thing when it comes to real estate. And so now here's the phases of construction. Our phase in construction is pretty similar to what ISNRV Masjid is doing right now, so we're pretty much all on the same page. Right now what we're working on, which is being in the process right now, is phase 1. And we've already cleared the lot, so if you drive by the construction site right now, you will see a lot of excavators and things like that clearing out the lot, which has been done in the past couple of weeks. And then phase 2 is obviously implementing the stormwater management systems. Stage 3 is where it comes on to actually building the construction of the building. And then you have the landscape, because the town of Blacksburg does require us to have some sort of landscape and gardens. And then the asphalt and sidewalks, and then the management fees. Alhamdulillah, it does say 15% here, but we were able to decrease that number. And so the total, we're looking at about $1.2 million, right? It is a lofty goal, but we have broken it down into milestones to make it easier for us to achieve such number. And so as you can see here, Phase 1 and Phase 2, it's already ready to be signed, but before we sign it, we obviously want to make sure that we're able to acquire all the funds. So alhamdulillah, Phase 1 and Phase 2 accounts for 26% of the project. So about 1/4 of the project is already going to be completed if we were able to reach the milestone for this phase. So as you can see, our target, it is a big target for this month. It is 320,000. I understand that is a lofty target. But inshallah ta'ala, with your help and through alumni and through various networks of fundraising, we can reach this goal, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And so I'll just leave you guys with this. The Prophet ﷺ did say that whoever builds a masjid for me, Allah will build a house for him in Jannah. As Dr. Hassan spoke about, that this is an immense opportunity. It's a very, very important opportunity. The town of Blacksburg is growing. Many masajid across America are expanding. I come from Arlington, Virginia. There's like 15 masajid within the same area, within a 5-mile radius. So it's not unheard of to have 2 or 3 masajid in one town or in one city, right? So alhamdulillah, this is just a testimony to Islam spreading in Blacksburg. I am the president of the ISA. Through ICB and through other members in the ICB board, we do da'wah on campus. We're able to give out a lot of Qur'ans. In fact, a brother and a sister, they reverted to Islam a couple of weeks ago. So this is all through the help of ICB. So this is not like a foreign, thing that's happening all out of the blue. There's no issues. We work hand in hand with other Muslims in the community. And this is something that we want you guys all to be a part of. So please donate, give generously, bi'iznillahi ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.